first of all, thanks for agreeing to come on and chat.
Not at all. Not at
great.
all.
It's great to talk. It's a good time to talk and connect with people. You know, everybody wants to talk.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know, you know, how are you doing? How am I doing? How are we all doing? And how we all cope.
Yeah. What are you? How are you doing it? Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll ask you. I'll prompt you with a few kind of questions, Celly. I mean, you and I know some of these calls. I know people from school, some people from Drimna, people from whatever, some people from basketball. Obviously, that was a big part of our life and your life, I know. So different ways of cross paths with people. Some people through work. So you and I know each other a lot through basketball, obviously. And Tom, your husband, who was years ago. I first met him when I was a referee. So that's when I first met Tom.
That's right.
Yeah, we were both refereeing down mostly in Inchicore, you know. So that was interesting. So where are you originally from, Celly? Where did you grow up?
I'm from Bulfin Estate in Inchicore.
Yeah.
So we were just down the road from Drimna.
Across the canal.
That's myself and Tom are from there, from Bulfin. Just across the bridge.
And I'm going to talk to you about, now that you said Surrey Bridge, I'm going to talk to you about that snippet you posted the other day.
Oh, but that was mad.
I'm going to come back to that. So tell us, literally first tell us where you are right now. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's interesting.
We're in Sweden. We're in Gävle in Sweden. We moved over. Now, we were in Västerås first 3 years ago, and we were 2 years in Västerås, and then we moved down here to Gävle. So it was with Tom's work that this all happened. He was working away. He was looking after a project in Frankfurt in Germany.
Yeah.
And then they came and asked him, he builds data centers. So they asked him, would he think about Sweden and would he relocate? So I had given up work. I'd taken early retirement and I was sitting at home on my own, kids gone. Well, the youngest lad was still in the house, but he's working and the whole lot.
Yeah.
So he came home one evening and he said, Cel, how would you fancy about moving to Sweden? And just off the cuff, I just went, yeah, totally.
How long did it take you to make that decision?
It took, I think, I'd say about 5 minutes, because the previous night, like he'd been away all week in Frankfurt and he came home, and the night before was a miserable night. I was in Galway. It was lashing rain. I was in bed at 7:30 and I thought to myself, there has to be more to life than this.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
And I said, I might as well be with Tom.
Yeah.
And I know he's gone from, say, 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, till he probably won't get home now till about 7:20. Yeah. But at least I'm here. He's able to come in the door, have the dinner.
Yes.
And So basically that's, he's building 2 data centers now here in Gävle.
Brilliant.
And he's building one in Frankfurt.
Brilliant.
So we kind of go
between.
Well, we were going back and forth to Frankfurt.
Yeah.
That's us.
So literally took you, like, didn't take you any time to make the decision. You just, like, you know, said, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. And he said to me, think about it, Celly. And I said, no. And we're only after getting the house and Luke and done up. And I thought, it's a house. It's a house.
Yeah, it's a house.
So
yeah.
Within 2 weeks, I had everything packed up. I said to Keith, I text Keith, I said, oh, by the way, Keith, we're moving to Sweden.
By the way.
He says, I am. I said, no, you're not. We are.
You're not. That's funny.
He works for Colin Construction as well. And we rented out the house. Keith's in it. And we rented out the house, the other rooms. And that was it.
Yeah, that's gas. You see, that's kind of a really interesting kind of a thought process from you and psychology. Yeah. And I think, again, people are different. And you said something, I'd be very similar. It's just a house. It's just bricks and walls.
Yeah.
You know, so don't get too attached to it. It's just a place, like a house is a place.
Exactly.
No, it's a house is a home. But home is where you make it, right? You make your memories wherever you are. So I
Yeah.
think sometimes people get caught up in that bricks and mortar and they just can't get past
Yes.
it. But it is actually literally a piece of sod and a bit of land. It's where you spend your time with your loved ones, really. So it doesn't really matter where that is. And I'm very similar to you. That's psychology. And I think,
and you know what? That's totally it. It's, you know, I'm sitting on my own anyway in the house.
Yeah.
There's only so much cleaning you can do.
Exactly. I know.
That clean and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah.
So you've ended up. So how long have you been in Sweden now? How long have you?
We're 3 years. Is it 3 or 4 years? It's actually 4 years. Actually, this June. I didn't move. I didn't come till later on in the year. Tom came out for the first 3 or 4 months. Set up things, get an apartment, but we're only in Gävle now. Here 1 year.
Got it. And where is Gävle? People would probably know Stockholm. So where is Gävle geographically? Are you north, south, east, west in the country?
Oh God, no! I'd probably get this wrong. But where are we? South? No.
Well, are you further south?
The north. We're north. Yeah, we're about an hour and 30 minutes from Stockholm itself. An hour and 40 minutes from Stockholm. So it's fierce handy.
Got it. And the city you're living in now, is it a big city, or is it kind of like small enough to be not too overwhelming? Like,
no,
it's not New York, right?
Yeah, no. It's big enough. God, no, if you're asking me, I'm not too sure. But I think Stockholm is the largest city, and then we'll be coming in there with Fastras. It's not small by no means, but it has everything here. It's
not an overwhelming, massive, big place. That's kind of too big. Totally. And you said you live in an apartment in the city. Do you live in the city centre, or do you live in the suburbs?
Right in the city centre. I look out here. I've got the train station across the road from me.
Nice.
And then further up the town, there's a fabulous park. It is absolutely amazing.
Beautiful.
And it's they're so children orientated here and family. Yeah. It's a fabulous park. And I've got the shops just literally around my corner. So we're smack bang. We're lucky. We're smack bang in the middle of it.
Nice. So you have everything at your fingertips. I want to tell you as well, I spoke to an old school pal of mine yesterday, and he's in Norway. So the conversation is kind of, we had a similar, touched on similar themes. Tell us a little bit about, what the vibe is, or how Swedish people, how society is there. They're kind of more laid back. You just said children oriented, so that's interesting. Yeah. So what's the difference with Swedish people? What do you find good?
They are very laid back. I thought now, with not being able to speak Swedish, and you're probably going to ask me, have I learned how to speak Swedish? And I have a few basic words, but the thing is with Swedish people, they all speak English. I'd say 95%. So difference between here and Frankfurt is they don't want you speaking English to them, and you kind of feel a bit, oh God, I used to never speak to anybody over there.
Got it. Isn't that interesting?
They want to speak English here, and they want to show you how good their English is.
Got it.
And everybody, I might just say sorry, and next minute, because their second language is English, so the brain switches in and they're speaking English.
Amazing.
So for me personally, it has been so easy just to click over, and made me quite lazy.
Got it.
In fairness.
Got it. So do you, when you go into...
I should be, that's what Tom, when he said to me, he had... Sorry, Alan.
You're going in and out a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Don't worry. I can hear you again now.
Yeah. So, no, there's no problem with everybody just speaks English. So Tom was saying to me, come on, Sel, we should really be giving it 100% learning it. So that's that's on the bucket list.
Lovely. And what about people in terms of, you said they're very laid back. Are people friendly?
Very friendly.
Yeah. And welcoming type of thing.
Totally. I found that, I actually found them very like Irish people.
Got it.
as in just if you ask somebody something, they're so friendly and they explain as well as they can. And they've got kind of like our sense of humour. Well, they've got they've got my sense of humour. Bit mad.
I was going to say that. Perfect. Bit
so
mad,
it suits me.
Yeah, we're all a bit mad. And so they're kind of also a very family oriented like society as well.
Oh, totally.
Like start work early, start school early, finish and have some time with the family.
Finish early. That was one of the hardest thing with the work that Tom's doing here is in the summer, well, in the building trade anyway, around that area, they shut down for 5 weeks.
Oh, right. Just everything shuts down.
It's like the last week in June and the full month of July. I think it's that way around for the building anyway. And they'd come in early and they want to finish 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or they'll ask them, especially like because he wants to employ Swedish people and that. But they'd expect a lot of to go home early, to maybe work from home 2 days a week. Yeah.
And that's just all family, kind of family friendly
stuff.
Yeah. Now here, I can't see your lovely face fully, Celly. Something in the way the camera there is your finger. Yeah, there you go. Happy to see all of you, Celly. Yeah. Your fans won't be happy, Celly. They'll say we could only see half her face. You couldn't have that. We'd have some complaints. So you're obviously now sitting in your apartment. And you know, how is life there during the lockdown? Like, how are you coping with it? What's happening over there?
Well, to be honest with you, there's no lockdown here.
Okay.
I could go out that door there and go into any shop, any bar, any restaurant if I wanted to.
Wow.
But what we decided to do is we're treating it as lockdown, and like that, if you need to get groceries, we go to our groceries to do our shopping. But with Tom's work, everybody's just working. Everybody is working, so it's not taken. They've got what they're trying to say is they're doing the herd
immunity. Yeah.
Is it working? Is it not working?
Yeah.
It's up for debate.
Yeah. So I suppose I probably heard, just listening to different approaches in different countries. I probably heard a few weeks ago that Sweden was one of the countries where they didn't impose a lockdown, but they advised people what to do to socially distance. And then the perception I had is that kind of people are there's a lot of common sense and socially responsible people, and generally people would kind of just do. So that seems to be the cultural vibe there. Here's the recommendations, and then people would follow those recommendations. But I also have heard that recently maybe it's working, maybe it's not working. So it's interesting that you've just decided no, we're gonna just kind of keep yourself to yourself.
But like what I did, I had my mask there and I needed to go out and get something, and I said, okay, right, I'll go out today, and I went off. And I say I probably was the only one that had the mask or whatever out there.
That's interesting.
And there was a fair few people out. And I kind of thought, oh no, I shouldn't have done this. I should have waited till Tom came home. It didn't feel right.
That's funny. No. That's interesting. So over here, we're in Canada, obviously. We're in Ontario, and it's pretty locked down here. So they stay home. Everybody's to stay at home. There's essential and non-essential business. The essential businesses are very kind of tight. It's like food, services, just different things that you literally need. But other than that, no, you shouldn't be out. All the parks are closed. All the trails are closed. Up in Toronto, there's been highly publicised cases of people going out for a jog and have been caught by a bylaw officer and getting a ticket for $800.
Oh God! Wow.
It's serious. It's very, very serious. So the Canadians, in general, especially down where we are, take it very, very seriously, and they just the government just came in and locked down and closed the border. Like the border between ourselves and the United States is closed, which is kind of hard to even get your head around. Goods are coming across, so if you have goods to come back, and so trade is still going on, but you cannot cross that border. It's done.
Okay.
And it's closed like for another I think it's closed. They just announced it's closed for another 30 days. So, well, it's,
Yeah.
you know. So, I think in Canada, they are, it seems like they're on top of the numbers in terms of flattening that curve. So I think they acted pretty decisively pretty early, but it's just interesting, different countries.
They acted quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting, different countries and different states. Like some states in the United States are like, what they want to open. It's kind of like completely.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Yeah. So I think there's some strange times ahead. So what I want to ask you about was, what do you miss? It's a common question I ask people on these calls. What do you miss about Ireland in general? I mean, you're 3 years there. I know you've traveled back and forth a little bit. So what would you miss? Did you get that? You're freezing a little bit.
I'd be honest with you. No, I'd be honest with you. I'm probably in a lucky position, whereas I could hop on a plane and go home every month if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Or if somebody my sister wasn't well in Ireland, so I was able to just go home, stay for a month if I wanted, or 2 weeks or whatever. This is the longest now. I haven't been home since, lockdown Ireland, and here since the virus came on. Yeah. So I don't know. You see, I think I have blended in here quite well. Tom is homesick big time, and he misses more than I actually miss.
And what would he, pause for a second, I'm just going to switch to another network. Just pause for a second. Time out. 1 sec. Just going to switch here.
Okie doke.
Hang on 1 sec. I want to make sure my side is okay. Right. Now, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Perfect.
I have 2 different wireless networks in this house because the kids play games and stuff like that. So I was on the wrong one. So you were saying there that Tom, he misses Ireland. Like, what does he miss about Ireland? Is it just his friends, or is it just the place? Is it just the feeling of being in Ireland? It's
the feeling of being in Ireland. He misses Lucan. He misses just going down to the local, like, when we decided to come out here, our home now is in Galway. Yeah. So he just misses going down to the pub for a pint. Yeah. He would miss it more than me, to be honest. I'd miss, of course, we've got Shauna there with Barry in New York. Yeah. Our youngest lad, Keith, is working here in Sweden as well. He's nice. In Colin. Yeah. So it's just Shauna. So, of course, we miss meeting up with Shauna.
But you miss your family, and your family could be anywhere, so that doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But in terms of the place, I suppose, I spoke to a couple of people on these calls, and one person said to me that when he goes back to Ireland for a visit, just to maybe a week here, or maybe every year, but maybe every other year. As soon as he hits Ireland, he gets anxiety. It's kind of funny. He just kind of like doesn't, I don't know, he just says it's just so, because it's so different. He's away 20, 25 years, right? Or wherever it is.
Yeah.
So as soon as he kind of feels anxious. And then he enjoys his time and sees people, but he's looking forward to going back. And he's in Norway, actually. He's looking forward to going back to Norway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that just feels like home to him. Because it's kind of interesting, different kind of people, I mean, go ahead.
Tom would be more worried about me probably here because I'm on my own.
Right.
And I'd be in the apartment on my own, and he does do long hours. But I joined the gym here. Can't go to it now. I could go to it. The gyms are still open.
See, all the gyms here closed.
Yeah, no, but I don't. But I do miss. I probably on my friends and family, just going out and giving them a buzz and saying, look, should we go up the road or go meet the girls from the basketball? We have a few.
Have a cup of coffee. Yeah.
Karen Staunton, Ellie, all of them. We normally meet up, and it's just kind of all that kind of
bit of chit chat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of so you're kind of. It sounds like you kind of adapt to wherever you are. And
I am. Yeah.
That's it. You're that type of person.
Yeah. I was quite surprised that I did, because there was other people from Tom's work. They were asked to come out, and it was like one of the wives said, "Oh, I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't do this."
There you go.
You get over it so quickly.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, I think it's again, it's back to a different psychology, which is kind of fascinating. Yeah. We don't know why different people are like that, and there's no right or wrong. I mean, you know, but it's kind of funny how some people look on change. They welcome change, and it's an adventure, and they look at it as an adventure, right? Yeah. And you're looking out into the unknown. You are, because if you're moving to another country, you might go over there and suss it out, but you don't really know what it's going to be like after a month or after 2 months or after 6 months. Yeah. But you're prepared to give it a go, to roll the dice a little bit and see what happens, because you're kind of like, well, what's the worst that can happen, right? Yeah. You know, but I think there's other people then, and their psychology would be, no, I'm not taking the chance.
I'm not doing it. Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I know what I have here. So, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, I've a big family now. I think. Oh, yeah. I've got, obviously, as you probably know, 10 brothers and sisters, and I'm now, which is kind of, I think about it sometimes. I'm now the only one away. Like over the years,
oh my God!
Yes. Over the years, there's distant people away. Sister lived here, brother lived there. Brothers, people travelled and did a bit. Some people didn't, but I'm like they're literally 11 children, and my mother's still alive. God love her. Her father passed away, and literally there's a whole big network of Carols and Drimna. New generation. All my nieces, you know, they all have kids, and it's amazing. But I'm the only one. I'm the only one. And even I've been here 6 or 7 years. None of them have come over to see me yet.
Have they not? They don't like you.
Too far. They don't like me. Certainly, I realised that. Says, you bastards, you know. But maybe maybe I didn't ask them over.
Yeah, you know you have to send out the invitation.
Doors are always open. The other funny thing is that this year we it's as I said, we moved here in 2013. So this year, finally, the Stauntons were coming. So they're our best friends. You know, Terry.
Brilliant!
Well, it's all planned, and now we're kind of going like the year that's in it, right? So we're all kind of saying nothing. We're all just kind of waiting to see. And I think Lorraine tell me better. She remembers. I think it's July, early July. So
God. Fingers crossed.
I know, we're hoping. It's just a kind of a crazy time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, can somebody actually get on a plane? We don't know, right?
No.
So we're hoping. We just moved, and we're getting the garden in shape, and we have a pool now and everything. We're like, right, perfect for the Stauntons. We have everything.
Oh,
Lorraine has all the plans and where they're gonna, you know, because there's 6 of them. And the 6 of us.
Oh my God!
12 crazies in the same house.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah.
Oh, please God.
Yeah, exactly.
Fingers crossed that it does happen for us.
Yeah, it's exactly. But just like so I suppose this whole coronavirus thing has just killed everybody's kind of plans. It's just
everything.
Us. I mean, how do you how do you cope with that? And you seem to be a person who kind of you're an adapter.
Yeah.
This comes across like that. So how do you think? And I ask this question to people as well.
Yeah.
Some people kind of think too far ahead and they worry a lot. You kind of more think in the moment and kind of go, right, okay, we'll take one day at a time, take 1 week at a time. How do you cope with that?
Well, I'm actually very like that. There's no point in me worrying what's happening to Barry in New York. I know that he's on lockdown, and FaceTimed him yesterday, and he's sticking by the rules. Sean in Ireland is doing the same. Keith is here. Like Tom work is going on as normal here in Tom, but Tom has put the same procedures in as what would be in Ireland. And
right, good for him.
Taking everybody's temperature and everybody in a separate office and doing the best he can do there.
Wow.
But I'm a healthy person, and I think that's part of it, that I'm quite healthy, that I don't have any, thank God, underlying
which is great,
problems health-wise. And I think if you're that way, we can just hopefully, please God, it doesn't.
But you don't think too far ahead, because I think some people they get anxious. They think what's going to happen in 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You don't know is the key.
No,
we don't, and the government don't know. The governments don't know either. They're all just kind of playing it by ear. So I think that's important.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, I think it's important. So when you go back to just another quick question, and you're very good for being on the call, because I know you so much to do in the apartment. There, a lot of cleaning.
I've disinfected this, by the way.
Are you watching? I think I seen a Facebook post recently from you where you were just watching some old basketball or something like that.
Stop! I was up at 7 o'clock this morning or yesterday morning, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I put on the TV. I says, "Brilliant NBA." I just watched that.
I know. That's and again, we're watching. I'm certainly watching. So is Alan Jr. Like the great NBA, classic NBA games on there. Great FIBA games on there, like the European games and stuff like that. I think I watched France and Spain from like 2013 or something like that. Brilliant. Just like, it's great, you know. You never have time to watch this stuff, you know. Yeah.
And then you realise, God, how much I missed the basketball.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like I'm involved with the Masters with Karen and Ellie and Lynn and all of them. And this was my first year. The Dublin Masters was supposed to be the end of May. And I've been out for the last 5 years because I hurt my back.
All right.
And then I made a decision. I got 5-6 different procedures done on it. So I made a decision. I'm making a comeback for the Dublin Masters.
Wow. Yeah, I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that in the Irish Independent.
Yeah.
Celly O'Connor making a comeback. Is that the one, wasn't it?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
might kill you. So you weren't playing for the last few years, and then you decided to go back.
I haven't played in about 5 years, 4 or 5 years, I think it is. But I've been involved with the.
Yeah, I was going to say that you've always been involved.
Yeah, I go away with them and I'd sit on the bench and
have a bit of crack.
Yeah,
maybe go for a drink if they went for. I'm not sure if they drink when they go.
One or two. No, they're very good. The Oblig girls are very good.
Are they? Well done. Again, that's another fiver. That's 2 fivers to give you for playing certainly. So that was you were going to be back at the Masters, and you were hoping.
That was my big comeback. And
that's gone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
not to worry.
So when's the last time you were back in Ireland?
When was I back in Ireland? January.
Yeah.
We were there for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I stayed on for an extra 2 weeks just to sort the house out. And then I came back. I think it was around the 12th or 13th of January I came back.
Yeah. So, and had you plans? Would you have gone back again? Probably.
I probably would have. Yeah. There was a couple of little things I wanted to be back for, but.
And would you head down to when you go back?
Yeah.
Would you literally go back there and head down to your place in Galway? That's your base. So that's your base now.
That's our base now. Yeah, that's our base.
So tell us a little bit about that. So that's because I often see you cutting the grass and stuff like that. It's it's like a nice little haven. So where is that? Is that outside Galway City, or where is that?
There's it's about an hour's drive. It's more Roscommon side, so it's about 20 minutes from Roscommon. It's a small village called Craigs.
Lovely.
And we're there. We've got there about 14 years, 15 years now. 14 years.
And
I think.
What prompted you to buy that? Like, what was the you always want somewhere in the country, or it's just?
No, not necessarily. My dad, let's say my parents had passed away, and we all got a few little bob, yourself.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, will we buy in Spain, or will we do something like that? Yeah. And then I thought, well, why not just stay in Ireland? Yeah. And Tom, I was not great on computers, so Tom got me onto computers, and I put in a search for a house in Galway, just not too far away from Dublin, because 2 of us were both working as well at the same time. Yeah. And then this house came up and was in the price range, and bingo, we got it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And what would you do, like, before all this, before you moved away? Would you just head down there for weekends and stuff like that? Yeah, nice.
I used to work nights in Marks and Spencer's. Yeah. So every other weekend I'd be off. So Tom would be down there every weekend, and I just then go down, say my weekends off. Lovely.
So are you missing that right now? Would you like to be spending?
I'd love to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big keep. Like, there's probably about an acre of shagging grass with it. So in this time weather, you'd be out cutting it nearly every third day. But the neighbours down there, they text me.
No way.
And said, would you like us to do your garden?
So that's Ireland for you.
Yeah, here was I pay you anything you want, just please. No, and they were like, no, we'll do it. Went in and done it for us.
That's gas. Buy them a beer or a whiskey or something like that. That's kind of Ireland, is it?
So it is actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So basically, in terms of where you are now, so for the foreseeable future, you're like everybody else, really. Your situation, in that you're kind of, it's not completely locked down in Sweden, but it seems like you yourself are, kind of keeping everything kind of tight.
Keeping it quite tight. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Because we're going to be here. Tom looks after Europe. So we're here for the next couple of years anyway, and then maybe Spain. Spain might be coming up, and of course Frankfurt. So we'll be around Europe anyway.
Do you know Alma O'Connor, right?
Alma. Oh yes, she's in Florida.
Yes, she's in Florida. So I did a call with her the other day. So
brilliant.
You can pretend she's your sister, the two O'Connors. So I spoke to her the other day. It was interesting. She's you'll see her video, but she's similar. They're in Florida right now, but again, they've kind of a similar. They've younger kids, whatever, but they have a similar kind of outlook over the next few years. In that they're going to head somewhere. It's work related, so somewhere in Europe. And then, but eventually, it was interesting. She said to me, eventually she wants to end up back in Ireland. She has I think her oldest girl is 7. So her plan is that she'll go to high school, as we call her, secondary school.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting. But their psychology is literally where are we going to go next? They're not quite sure, but they're going to go somewhere next. So there you go. A bit like, so that's that type of person I told you about, that just like you, that just. Well, where are we going next?
Well, it made it easier on Tom, because if Tom is worrying about, he's to get home to me, like he wouldn't be coming home once every 3 weeks, and then he's under pressure anyway with the work. So it's just me putting more pressure on him. So I'm here, and like he's worked too hard.
Got it.
For me not to back him, And
I mean, for him, it's again, as you said, he'd be anxious about like, what are you doing at home and all that. So now he knows you're locked in, you're happy, and he can see you every single day. So that's good.
And he can just concentrate and work then. So and as you say, he probably has another, say, 10 years till retirement, or if he takes it early or not. But he does. So we just do that, and then we go back to Ireland and
back to Galway.
Settle in.
Cut the grass.
Cut the grass. That's my life.
I cut the neighbour's grass. You're gonna owe a few. You're gonna have to cut a few grasses. They're keeping it in the book.
Payback.
Celly, I cut your grass 10 times last year. I'm not sure whether that's a good Galway accent, but
I said, will you paint the house as well?
Well, hang on now. Don't get cheeky. Well, listen, it's been great talking to you, Celly.
You too, Alan.
Lovely to see you. You're looking well. You're looking happy. You're looking like you're handling it all very well. So yeah. Well, what can you do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can only do the best you can. So thanks for coming on to.
Not at all.
Our video podcast, my video podcast, and and so I've got about 5 people I've spoken to. I've got another five to go. So we'll post them all up on YouTube. I'll let you know when they're going up.
Yeah.
And sure, we might entertain people for a while.
Brilliant. And can we tell Lorraine and the kids all hope they're keeping well and
they're all happy.
Keep their spirits up.
They're all happy. Lorraine's out in the garden swinging a hammer. That's what she likes to do. She's not there right now, but she likes to build.
Stay away.
She's like, well, I learned that a long time ago. Yeah, stay away. Sorry, guard. I the hammer flew out of my hand, hit him on the head. He's dead. Yeah, that's it. Take care of yourself.
All right, Alan. Thanks a million. You're very good.
Say hello to Tom. As I said, me and Tom, my memories of Tom go way back.
Oh, stop. Two good referees.
We used to rep with, I was a fan of Tom's. Common sense, a lot of common sense.
Yes.
The referees have to have good common sense, good judgment.
Yeah.
And I remember early days, the Dublin Officials Association with Tom and doing games. It was a pleasure. So say hello to him for me.
I will indeed, Alan. Mind yourself. And best of luck for July. Hopefully July you'll get the Stomptons over.
Hopefully. Yeah. Take care, Celly.
All right, Alan. Bye.
Bye.